Hello, good evening. Welcome back to my channel, Eloquent English Enterprise. I'm sure you all must be waiting for the second part of letter writing. So I'm back with that. My apologies for a slight delay. It took more than what I'd expected to make this presentation. But anyhow, it's done. And before I begin, my sincere and a very, very big thank you to all my new subscribers. I've touched the 500 mark, and I guess it's a very big achievement for me, who generally prefers to stay a little, on ground. So thank you so much for believing in me, and thank you to all my old team members, my students, my colleagues who supported me like anything. I'm so, so, so grateful to you. Okay, so now getting back to brass tacks once again, let me start with my presentation. I'm sure you all must be waiting. And believe you me, it's going to be really, really beneficial to you. So here goes. Firstly, of course, a very big thank you once again to my new subscribers. I'll just shift my portrait side. Yeah. To all my new subscribers, please keep supporting me. I desperately need your support, okay, to grow, to feel rejuvenated, to feel encouraged. Because for anybody who's doing whatever, encouragement and motivation are two essential ingredients to make you go. All right. So thank you so much once again, everyone. And here we are. Welcome to my channel as is customary. Thank you so much for being over here on this platform. And here we have formal letter writing, part 2 of my presentation. So here we are going to discuss like what are the parts of a formal letter. Okay. Then formal letter writing samples. I'm going to share some samples with you. How it is to be written. So once you go through those letters, I'm sure you'll understand better. And of course, FAQs, the do's and don'ts on formal letter writing formats in English, not just the format, even the content. Okay. So writing of a formal letter, parts. What are the parts of a formal letter? So before you start, when you're writing a formal letter, be very respectful. Remember, the language has to be polite and respectful, and one needs to be conscious of one's language, no matter what the subject of the letter might be. It could be criticism, it could be bringing to light some problems, or maybe a reporting of certain crimes or irregularities. But the language has to be polite, and it has to be respectful. So when we write a formal letter, there are a few points which have to be remembered. Firstly, always start with the sender's address. Like format is very important as per CBSE rules, and even otherwise, whether or you're appearing for ICSE or ISC, or it's HBSE or any board for that matter, formatting of a letter is very important. So we start with the sender's address, which is followed by the date. Then it's the receiver's address, which comes next. So the receiver can be the name of a firm or the one who represents the firm. It could be an official. It could be, a kind of a shopkeeper, just about anybody. So sender's address, date, leave a line, date, leave a line, and then the receiver's address. Then comes the subject. The subject of the letter is very important. It is a statement of the purpose of the letter, like why exactly are you writing that letter for? So it gives you a gist. It gives a gist to the reader that what is the letter all about. It should be written always in a single line. Then comes the salutation. It could be dear sir, it could be ma'am. And if at all it's a person you know personally, despite the fact that it's going to be a formal letter, probably you can address them by their name, like dear Srinath or dear Mrs. Sharma, whatever, if you know that. But then you have to have a little kind of a personal relationship with that person. But the letter has to be formal in its tone. The underlying tone has to be very, very formal. Okay. Now, then comes the main content, which we also call or we address as the body of the letter. This has to be written in 3 distinct paragraphs. 1 minute. Okay, I hope you can see it now. The body of the letter can be written in 3 paragraphs. And what are these paragraphs? The first one, it is aimed at introducing yourself and stating the purpose of your letter. Okay, what exactly are you writing for? You introduce it. Though, of course, you've written the subject, but now a little brief explanation is required. The second paragraph should furnish all the information about the matter, like all your ideas, the main ones, those have to be furnished. So the second paragraph could be a little longer, but keep it as precise, as brief as possible. The third paragraph can be a concluding paragraph where you lay out your expectations regarding the matter. That is, after you've written the purpose, after you've given all the details, now is what are your expectations? What do you think should be the outcome of your written request or letter? And then comes the signing off, where you sign off. And how do we do that? We close the letter by a complimentary closing, like yours faithfully or yours sincerely. There are no regards or no love or something which is to be written over here. Simply thank you, yours faithfully, yours sincerely. And with thank you, you may even add one more line, signing off in anticipation of a favorable reply or action. Signing off in anticipation of a favorable response from you, yours faithfully, XYZ, or yours sincerely, etc. So these kinds of, these terms can be used in your complimentary closing. Unlike in formal letters, you don't have to write your first name. It has to be your complete name, your first name and your surname. That has to be put under the signature in block letters. All right. You sign however you may sign your name, and then you write your full name underneath your signature in block letters, and then your designation. Even if you're a resident, even if you're a simple resident of a colony, you have to mention that. Resident, RCWA, some colonies welfare association. So your designation, you have to definitely mention over there. Now, these are some formal letter writing samples. You may, enlarge it. You may stop the video, click a picture so that you see. Now, this one is written by somebody to the manager of a publishing house. And the letter says that I received certain books, but I wish to order more. So I'll be grateful if you could send me these copies through a respected or reputed courier service. Right? So this is the first formal letter sample. It's a letter to the publisher ordering books for your store. You run a bookstore and you want some more books for your store. The second one, the formal letter sample 2, is the letter to the MLA of your constituency to establish ecology clubs for cleaning of the environment. You are a responsible citizen, so you need help from the MLA because you want to have ecology clubs so that the environment can be kept clean, and also there has to be some kind of ecological balance that needs to be maintained. So this is the second sample. The third sample, it's a letter to the editor about a road that needs repair. So again, you could probably pause and take a click and then expand it, enlarge it, and see it for yourself, right? So it's from Ganesh in Coimbatore. He writes to the editor of the Hindu, Coimbatore, and then he signs off towards the end, right? So see, it's short and crisp, but the entire, the sentiments, the feeling, the thoughts, they all have been conveyed pretty well over here. Now, this is very important. Our children sometimes feel that they have not been given justice in their writing exercise. So let's discuss the marking scheme also as per CBSE rules for the letter writing exercise. First, the marks, there's 1 mark for the format. Like I told you initially, we start with the sender's address, then it's followed by the date, then the receiver's address, and then there's a subject, then salutation, then it's the main content, and then it's signing off and the customary thank you, etc. And then the name has to be written in full along with the signature and the designation. So this complete is the format. That's the design in which you have to write your letter. So this formatting comes only with 1 mark. And what are the things which, like, how is it marked? Let's see. Full credit, that is full marks are given if all these aspects which I just narrated are included. Partial credit is given if 1 or 2 aspects are missing, like you forgot to write the subject or you forgot to thank the person. So maybe half a mark can be deducted. But if more than 2 aspects are missing, then you get no marks for that. So format turns out to be a duck for you. All right. Then we come to the main content, which carries 2 marks. And how is this judged? Let's see. Half a mark is given for each content area point which has been addressed. All right. So what is this? Suggestion. Now this I've written for you, so I'll read it out because it had to be very, very formal. So when you're writing a formal letter, it's essential to structure content in a clear and concise manner, I just mentioned. So these are the components. Now the first one is suggestion. The suggestion section of a formal letter outlines the specific action or change which you propose, okay? The specific action or change which you are proposing, it has to be clear, concise, and directly related to the issue that you are trying to address. For example, if you are writing to the principal about improvement of school facilities, then your suggestion might be to allocate more funds for maintenance and repairs, okay? So that's a suggestion. The second one is importance. This section, like in your content, this explains why your suggestion is important or beneficial in the larger context. You have to provide the evidence, the reasoning, or examples to support your claim. For example, if you're suggesting improved school facilities, you might want to highlight the positive impact it would have on student learning, health, and overall well-being. Okay, so you may rewind and listen to me again. Then comes the implication. Now, implication over here means that we explore the potential consequences or the outcomes of the implementation of your suggestion, like the consequences or outcomes of implementing your suggestion. You can discuss the positive implications such as improved efficiency or increased satisfaction, as well as any potential challenges or drawbacks. It's very essential, dear viewers, to present a balanced view and also address any concerns that may arise after you write this. So the implications again of your writing have to be emphasized. The fourth and the last one is recommendation. Now this section summarizes your suggestion and reiterates its importance. It emphasizes on your suggestions which you have given. You can also offer additional recommendations or propose the next few steps which you think are going to be beneficial in that particular context. For example, you might recommend forming a committee to oversee the implementation of your suggestion or suggest a timeline for completing the proposed changes. Okay. Like recommendation of the formation of a committee for that particular project or a certain timeline which has to be given when the given task or the task in question has to be completed. So if we effectively address these components in our letter, then there is a likelihood of an increase of your suggestions to be taken up and implemented. Sorry, slip of tongue. So remember again to use clear and concise language. I'm sure you can understand that I'm reiterating this point. Clear, concise. Brevity is the order of the day. And always try to provide supporting evidence. And yes, never forget you have to be respectable or respectful in your tone. Okay, not respectable. There's a difference. Respectful in your tone. Now we come to the organization of ideas. You know, the ideas come to you in a very haphazard manner, but you've got to organize them. This carries 1 mark. Firstly, the first one, the idea has to be, you have to be effective. Your language has to be something which coaxes people. You know, it has to be something which is going to impress the people or the reader to whom you are sending this letter. The sequence of your ideas has to be in a proper order. We can't jump from one branch to another. That would not be very effective. So, you remember when we used to teach English, 10 years ago, we followed something called coda, collection of ideas, organizing the ideas, making a draft, editing it, and then revising. C, collect. O, put them in the correct order. D, make a rough draft. E, edit. And R, revise. C-O-D-E-R, coda. So here again, there has to be an orderly sequence to the ideas that you are suggesting. It has to be paragraphed, like I said earlier, 3 distinctive paragraphs. The second paragraph has to have the orderly sequence of your ideas. The tone has to be very formal, crisp, precise, as short as possible. Keep it short and be very formal and respectful. Vocabulary. Now here, vocabulary, I don't mean over here use very high-flying kind of words. No, keep your language simple. We are not writing any essay for on on the national platform. It's just a letter where you have to give your suggestions for improvement or maybe for whatever reason. So here your vocabulary has to be simple but effective. All right. It has to have force, but keep it simple. And the last one is accuracy, 1 mark. Sometimes we go off the rails or off the road. Stick to the point, okay? Do not diverge from the main idea of your letter. So if you're accurate in all the points which have been described above, you are sure to get 1 mark. So in all, it has to be 1 + 2 + 1 + 1, which makes 5 marks. Okay. So now I'm going to give you some examples of formal letters for practice, okay? And these are like, for example, if you're writing letter to your school authorities, it could be requesting a transfer to another class or section within the same school, or maybe if you are wanting to shift or change your school, then you may put up a request for the same. Request a change in elective subject. For example, in class 11, you've taken up a certain, group of subjects, a combination of subjects, but you wish to change it in your subsequent year in class 12. So you have to send a formal letter to your principal. Then the third one could be seeking permission for a school trip. You want to participate in a school trip, or you want to sort of organize a picnic yourself. So probably you could write to your principal. Then the fourth one could be expressing concern about school facilities, like if you're not happy with certain facilities or certain activities which are going on in the school. For example, the classrooms are not airy, or they have insufficient lighting, or the toilets are not clean, or the playground is not giving you the facilities or the required area for a certain game, you could definitely express your concern through a formal letter to your principal. The last one over here, of course, requesting a copy of mark sheet. Like, for example, you did get a mark sheet earlier, but you have probably misplaced it or it's got damaged for some reason. So you could request in writing for a duplicate copy. Now, these are some letters actually they are addressed to civic authorities, but we send them through a newspaper. We write letters to the editor, bringing up a certain social issue. So what are all these? Local issues like pollution, traffic congestion, or lack of basic amenities. You could just bring it out to common public. You're not addressing this to anybody in particular. It's just that we as citizens of a certain city, we have to take control of pollution and traffic congestion. And you could suggest ideas like carpooling or getting your vehicles checked for pollution, etc. Then it could be a request for improvement in public services. You could write to maybe the commissioner of your town, or any high kind of an official and request better public transportation, healthcare facilities, or water supply. It could also be like if water supply is inadequate or something, you could write to the chairman or the head of the water works department. The third letter could be addressed to a police official regarding public safety. You could report incidents of crime, vandalism, or any other kind of safety issues in your own area. Then suppose, you could again have it as an open letter to the government. You could inquire about government policies, regulations, or services which are being provided to the common man. And also, again, you could have an open letter written or maybe to the MLA or some kind of a politician in your city to improve community initiatives, like proposing ideas for community development or improvement projects. The last one, the group of letters to other recipients. Now, there could be a variety of people to whom you may have to write. And what are these? To a local baker complaining or ordering a certain food item. Okay, you could complain, or you could even praise the products which you have received. Then you could write to the chairman or the head of the water supply department reporting water shortage or quality issues. Maybe the water is not clean enough. You could write to the SP police reporting a crime or seeking assistance with your own safety or the safety of your colony or the place which you are living in. You could write a letter to the municipal corporation raising concern about sanitation, waste management, or infrastructure of your market or your colony or whatever. You could also write to your local MLA or MP, and here you may address issues like the constituencies, like any issue related to the constituency or seeking assistance with any kind of personal matter. You need personal help, so you could write. We live in a free country and we are free to approach any person whom we deem fit who's going to help us in our problems. Now, we come to the FAQs or the do's and don'ts of formal letter writing. So firstly, let's discuss the do's. Now, the do's are always keep your recipients in mind when writing. This means that when you're writing, you must know for sure who are you addressing. Is it a gentleman or it's a lady? If you have any confusion, write, dear sir, oblique ma'am. Okay, it shouldn't be that you're writing to a ma'am, but you address her as sir or vice versa. So you must always know the recipient. Otherwise, use those. Compose a letter which is made up of brief and concise paragraph. I told you earlier, brevity is the order of the day. You must know the best structure for the type of letter you're writing. You must know exactly what you're writing and how you're writing, how you're going to format it. Use a professional writing tone for your formal letter. Be very professional. There has to be nothing personal which has to come up. It has to have no friendly undertone. It has to be completely formal and professional. Consider if you have, use a letterhead. If you have, this is not compulsory. Now we'll discuss the don'ts. Now the don'ts are, don't forget to check the details of your recipient's information. Again, as I just told you, be very sure of who you are writing to. Your salutation should not be in contrast to what you are actually writing or to whom you are writing. Don't miss out on incorporating a call to action in your formal letter. That is, after you've written, like you've praised yourself. If suppose, now this in particular, I'll take if you are writing a letter to apply for a certain job. So here, definitely you have to write a call to action. That is, why do you feel fit to be there on that particular position? And also, don't forget to give your contacts. Okay, your number, your address, because even if those the people who are over there who are going to recruit you, or recruiters, if they wish to call you, they may think that he or she is not interested, so why do we call? So you got to show, you got to mention over there in no unclear terms that you are really interested in this particular job and why you are suited to that particular position. Don't leave out proofreading in the process of your letter writing. I've made this mistake myself. I wrote the spelling of principal itself in a wrong manner, and that was pointed out to me. by someone else, so I had to edit. So it happens. Despite our earnest efforts, we do miss out on certain very important aspects. So when you've written the letter, do not forget to revise it. It's in your own. It's going to help you out, for your own benefit, right? Don't prolong your formal letter with unnecessary sentences. This is another way of saying keep it brief, keep it precise, keep it clear, right? And then don't neglect a proper formal letter formatting. Formatting is very important. If you don't format it, you may, if you're a student writing for the exam, you may lose marks. But if you're actually writing a letter when you've grown up and you're sending a letter to somebody, you may miss out on your letter being taken up in a serious manner. It may just be summarily rejected. So these are the do's and don'ts, which we must keep in mind. So thank you so much, viewers, once again for watching Eloquent English Enterprise. And I hope if you like it, you're going to give me thumbs up, and I'll wait for some good compliments too. So thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday tomorrow. Signing off for today. I'll be back with, I have something in my mind. So maybe in a day or two, I'll be back with that. Till then, it's me signing off. Good night. Bye-bye. See you soon. Bye-bye.